In a world where dreams meet reality, there exists a place where your business can flourish. That place is Shopify. Imagine having the power to craft your online store with tools that make it as easy as a gentle breeze. Whether you're an artisan of handmade wonders, a creator of digital treasures, or a curator of the latest trends, Shopify stands by your side. With its customizable templates, seamless integrations, and support that's always there, your dream store is just a heartbeat away. Join millions of visionaries around the globe and let Shopify guide you on your journey. Visit roguemedianetwork.com/Shopify. That's roguemedianetwork.com/SHOPIFY. And embark on your free trial. Shopify, where your commerce dreams come to life. You just found the perfect product that helps with staying cool during hot summer runs. No more gross warm water. Stay cool with this product from Gear Handle. This hydration tube cover helps keep your water cool and easily accessible. Stay hydrated during those long summer runs or even delay from freezing in the winter. Plus, they're compatible with various brands of water bladders and come in various colors. Visit gearhandle.com and use promo code H2O today.
I am Rachel Ruth Tate, and this is Astrology. Welcome once again to y'all from Waco, the heart of Texas. I am your starry-eyed Southern astrologer, Rachel Ruth Tate, and on this week's episode, we are addressing the new moon in Leo, happening on Thursday, July 28th, at 12:56 p.m. Central Standard Time at 5 degrees of Leo. For those of you who tuned in last episode, you're ahead of the game this lunar cycle. You have just recently had a primer on the sign of Leo per our discussions of Mercury and the Sun's recent entrance into that sign. And oh, does Leo love an extended introduction. Regardless, let's refresh us all. Leo is the fifth sign in the zodiac. It is a fixed fire sign and the domicile of the sun, meaning Leo is the home of and is ruled by the sun. And this makes logical sense when considering what the fixed modality or the stationary state of fire would actually look like. So plasma, or the fire element's analog when it comes to states of matter, it's highly volatile and hard to imagine as fixed or immobile. But the image of a star, our sun included, can really help to illustrate. Stars aren't, strictly speaking, entirely stationary, but they do have immense centers of gravity that keep them and the solar systems surrounding them together as a coherent whole. Leo is also about the coherent wholeness of the self on an individual psychological level. It's about the set of qualities of spirit that define and bring to life a unique personality. And on a larger human scale, Leo symbolizes the set of core values that unify a society or bring together any group of people. During this new moon in Leo, the sun and the moon will literally come together there as well. A new moon happens when the moon's orbit moves it between the earth and the sun. So here on Earth, during a new moon, the so-called dark side of the sun, the part not illuminated, is all we can see. From our perspective here, the monthly new moon is a brief conjunction between the sun and the moon, as they share the same apparent degree. In astrology, when any planet enters into the present degree of the sun, it is what's called cazimi, or in the heart of the sun, giving that planet some great strength while it occupies that degree. So our monthly new moon is really the moon in the heart of the sun, making the new moon a perennially always powerful lunar time, more potent than the preceding waning crescent or the following waxing crescent. And as it happens, this new moon in the heart of the sun is taking place in Leo, the sun's own sign, making it an additionally powerful lunation, uniquely situated with respect to its ruler. So let's step back for a moment and talk about the journey to any Cazimi moment. As a planet makes its way around the zodiac in cyclic circles, no matter how long its orbital period, it will at some times find itself in the same sign as the sun. When a planet is within 17 degrees of the sun, it is traditionally considered under the beams, which will weaken that planet's expression because the sun's glare is so terribly bright. It will literally diminish the visibility of anything placed too close to it in the sky from our vantage point here on Earth, as one can't see anything with too much light in one's eyes. Then, when a planet comes to within about half that distance, around 8 degrees from the sun, it is considered combust, or virtually invisible, its meanings entirely outshined by the intense influence of the proximate sun. A combust planet's power is dissolved by that intense heat and energy. But finally, when a planet reaches the degree of the sun, specifically the 17-degree minutes around the sun on either side, it enters the sun's heart and achieves that Cazimi. The Cazimi moment itself is not considered a debility or weakness at all. In fact, it is quite the opposite. For a moment, the planet is strong and shining in the spotlight, fully supported and highlighted by the rays of our magnificent star, the sun. So, during this new moon in Leo, for about half an hour, 34 minutes, the moon, our personal emotional principle and inner felt sense interpretation of the outer world, the moon, will experience the warmth of the sunniest sun, the sun in Leo. There will be a distinct clarity around what is true for us emotionally and spiritually. For a small second, we can take advantage of really understanding our deeply felt convictions and experiencing the sentimental courage to feel all of our feelings, actually, proudly, profoundly, authentically, all Leo keywords. Heading into that moment and on the other side of it, we may be feeling the heat of those beams and that combustion. Our emotions could be, in essence, overshadowed by the energy of our environment, perhaps, or just obscured by a lack of focus or present moment awareness, that brightness of the sun. That said, it isn't always convenient to feel. Sometimes we have shit to do other than nourish and care for our own emotional and spiritual selves, especially if we're parents, the sun signifying the father and the moon the mother. If we're parents, there can be so much that we have to show up for, so much with our families outside of us, so much happening that we can forget to arrive on time for ourselves. But this new moon, no matter who you are, we have a window. And I encourage us all to mindfully, intentionally take it. It's a blessed bit of time at about 1 p.m., 12:56 Central Standard Time, with our internal selves in the heart of the sun in Leo, or in our heart of hearts, so to speak, as Leo rules over and represents the heart. This moment will be a powerful period to do some self-inquiry, specifically related to your truest and innermost feelings. Maybe you ask, am I keeping any secrets from the world, from my family, from myself? Why? And what would happen if I showed up authentically and uncovered? Leo is the essence of self, A moon in Leo reminds us that we will either love what and who we love, or spend life and time denying or fighting against it. We have the choice to reveal ourselves. Only we can do it. To be Adam or Eve before the fig leaves, or to remain covered up and ashamed. To keep up our own masquerade so long sometimes we can't remember what's behind that mask anymore. Listen, we all came into this world naked, one from two, and without any history or spiritual blemish. And we are each individually still as worthy of love and attention in our raw, pure human forms as we were that day of our birth, no matter what we've done or what has happened to us since then. Leo reminds us that our value as human beings, that life itself is sacred and unconditional, and so is each moment of that lifetime. So let's make it sacred this new moon, all of it. I'm here to tell you that sacred doesn't have to look like the perfection of a monastery, temple, or church. It is the glamorous. It's also the gross, the highs and the lows, the sweat, the shade, the nights, the days, the brand new, the remade, the excitement, and the malaise. All of the things, all of the feelings have spiritual potency. The new moon in Leo reminds us there are no days off from our lives, and no amount of pretending that can cover up our eternal responsibility to make meaning of all that transpires in our lives. So let's move on and summarize what the sky has in store for each sign to do just that. Remember, I like to use rising or ascendant signs to give your best horoscope, though you can use your sect light sign, which is your sun sign, if you were born while the sun was above the horizon, or your moon sign if you were born after sunset. And there are a million apps and sites that will cast your chart. Just be sure to use an exact birth time to get your real rising sign. Here we go. What's up for all 12 signs? Aries. Creative realization and personal joy. Taurus. Domestic manifestation and deep renewal. Gemini. Expressive revival and local focus. Cancer. Financial rejuvenation and renewed calling. Leo. Self-expression and interior discovery. Virgo. Mental revitalization and emotional reset. Libra. Hopeful restoration and fortuitous gathering. Scorpio. Professional reanimation and public prowess. Sagittarius. Spiritual awakening and learning exploration. Capricorn. Activated intimacy and rousing commitment. Aquarius. Relational renaissance and partnership growth. Pisces. Service orientation and routine improvement. You can meditate on those forecasts as we take a short break for a word from our sponsors.
You just found the perfect product that helps with staying cool during hot summer runs. No more gross warm water. Stay cool with this product from Gear Handle. This hydration tube cover helps keep your water cool and easily accessible. Stay hydrated during those long summer runs or even delay from freezing in the winter. Plus, they're compatible with various brands of water bladders and come in various colors. Visit gearhandle.com and use promo code H2O today.
Hello again, y'all. Now we will shift from new moon magic into an explication of my top 3 important transits or planetary alignments to watch for over the next 2 weeks of this current lunar cycle. Number 1, Jupiter stations retrograde at 8 degrees of Aries on Thursday, July 28th at 3:32 p.m. Central Standard Time, just hours after the new moon in Leo. It remains retrograde until November 24th of this year, which just so happens to be Thanksgiving Day. What to make of this? Well, Jupiter is what we call the greater benefic, or our greater good. It is the collective evolution, life's highest purpose, and our spiritual education. And its retrograde in Aries tells us we have some reworking to do there. From midsummer through mid-fall, that overarching evolutionary principle, the beneficent force at work in the world, Jupiter, is going to appear to be sliding backwards. That retrograde in the sky. It may feel like we're taking a few steps forward, and yet more steps back, both individually and collectively. Jupiter's retrograde speaks to the fact that while things in the world have never been so good, we have scientific discoveries of wild magnitude happening daily, for example, and technological innovations happening at warp speed. So, while things are moving forward exponentially faster, they have also never seemed so perilous. The paradox of the modern age. To underline that, this retrograde period will take Jupiter from Aries, Mars's cardinal fire sign of spiritually initiatory action, back into Pisces, Jupiter's own mutable watery home sign of the felt and sensed unity underlying all things. This profound state change of the direction of our common good from that cardinal forward-moving energy of beginning, Aries, back into the mutable energy of adaptation and evolution, Pisces, tells us we aren't ready to begin again in earnest just yet. Society needs to change first. One can't catch hold of something until one lets go of what is still in the hands. We have to move on to move on. This way of being is not sustainable. And the collective really can't start moving forward again until it has finished healing its present wounds. We can't move on from the pandemic precaution into any new normal until we are well again. As the human race, there is so much to adapt and amend about the present and recent past before we even begin to solve the pressing problems of the new age, like the looming energy and climate crises. In order to combat the very real upcoming challenges we will face, we have to settle the old scores and make peace with some old wars. Humanity is about to have a lot of fires to put out, so to speak, with Jupiter retrograde in Aries. And Jupiter is as much a healer as it is a teacher. And in its retrograde, ideally, it helps to soften the scar tissue that has historically bound us. Transit number 2. Mars conjoins or occupies the same degree of the zodiac as and temporarily fuses with the North Node and Uranus on Monday, August 1st. Mars will meet the North Node at 18 degrees of Taurus at 1:55 p.m. Central Standard Time that day, and then Uranus in the same degree at 6:53 p.m. that evening. So we haven't addressed a conjunction before in this podcast, and we have not talked extensively about Uranus or the North Node. But don't worry, I will shortly introduce the concepts as simply as I can. So Mars, the red planet, represents our personal capacity to act, move, and do. Uranus, as a peculiar tilted planet represents the constant of change of the unending motion of the universe as a whole. And the mysterious north node of the moon, or the point at which the moon's orbit intersects the ecliptic, where eclipses happen, that point represents the law of attraction. When these three come together, and when any conjunction of two or more planets happens, their meanings and energy fuse and act together temporarily for the extent or length of that conjunction. So let me start by saying, everything we do this day, Monday, August 1st, will be fated. And our lives, all of our lives, will change importantly thereafter. Let's also zoom back out just a bit before we get excited and continue by saying that this exact triple conjunction of sorts between Mars, Uranus, and the north node of the moon, it will last roughly 12 hours, which is quite a long stretch as far as exact conjunctions go. And it will be opening a very powerful portal to fateful changes and big ones. This Mars-Uranus North Node conjunction is exceedingly rare and hasn't been seen in hundreds of years. Actually, this conjunction hasn't happened in the sign of Taurus, so just one of 12, since 324 BC. That's right, I said BC. So something that hasn't happened since before Christ is about to happen. That is the level that this conjunction is on. And it's happening in Taurus, a fixed earth sign ruled by Venus, the unionizer, meaning the ground that doesn't usually shake is shaking, and relationships that are usually rock solid are rocking. You get it. The unmoving moves, the bull charges, and things that don't change, this day they do. So what to think about this? Well, perhaps we can preempt this major conjunction and proactively ask what in our lives is calling out to be changed. The Taurus in your life is likely to be something that you rarely adjust or question. It's the most solid material underlying the sturdy identity of yourself. But we ourselves can take on the role of the Uranian and actually precautiously innovate within our own lives, disrupting already antiquated patterns and remediating this transit by engaging our world in a materially novel way of our own volition. The trappings of life are made to change, and life on earth, after all, it is temporal. So today, August 1st, prepare to be unprepared. Do something for the first time. Let the unsettled be unsettled and become of a bent of mind to enjoy the ride. After all, there is an element of spontaneity in any true bliss of that Taurian, Venusian, ecstatic kind. Surprise is part of delight. And when active Mars, shocking Uranus, and the inevitable North Node meet, change is definitely afoot. So embrace it. Third transit. Mercury enters Virgo at 1:55 a.m. Central Standard Time on Thursday, August 4th, where it remains for 3 weeks until Thursday, August 25th. Let me be crystal clear with this last transit. Mercury entering Virgo is a serious upgrade. Mercury, the messenger planet, is fittingly the only planet which exalts in one of the same signs as it rules, or it's the only planet that does its best work in its own home, as Mercury is so often deployed away, carrying information and facilitating exchange. When it is home in its yin domicile, the mutable earth sign of Virgo, the sixth sign in the zodiac, it feels all the creature comforts of home and provides us with the critical accuracy and precision required to get it right when we are on the road. Mercury in Virgo, the Virgin, parses information adroitly and expresses its messages deftly, employing both discernment and prudence. Virgo can sometimes be seen as hypercritical, but when it is a mission-critical circumstance or calculation, that deliberate and painstaking correctness is paramount. Perhaps Katherine Johnson, the Black female mathematician responsible for calculating the trajectory of the first moon landing, as well as its launch window and potential emergency routes back, she symbolizes Virgo very well. Katherine did, after all, have a prominent Sun and Mercury in Virgo. Beginning in the 1950s, Katherine worked at NASA for over 3 decades, when women didn't do that, and gained a pristine reputation for mastering the art of complex manual calculations, being affectionately called the human computer, in a time when computers were people and computer machines were just beginning to be utilized and implemented at the highest levels. When John Glenn, the first man to orbit the Earth, was asked if he was ready to launch before the final numbers check of Project Mercury, he said of Katherine's numbers, "If she says they're good, I'm ready to go." And good they were. Because Mercury in Virgo doesn't get the wrong answer. Its fastidiousness and unflinching commitment to thoroughness prevail time and time again. That is the exultant joy of Mercury in Virgo. It is about taking in the truth of what is around us and parsing out that information into useful bits. So during this Mercury in Virgo period, use your own keen faculties of perception to your greatest and most honest advantage, to serve, not to find fault with or attack. Remember, Virgo has virginal ideals. She serves others with her gifts. She is generous and magnanimous with her discriminating mind and sophisticated understanding of all that is. We will need just this kind of enlightenment in the near future unfolding. Virgo's mutability allows it to experience and express all sides, all angles of things. Virgo can take in large volumes of stimulation or sensation and refine it into utility. When things change, we personally and socially need that flexible and adaptable sort of intellect after all, because necessity is known to be the mother of invention. So notice where your mind naturally gravitates to during the month of August. Hold your own pure intentions and just let your mind go there, perhaps following the mental thread. Text the person whose name arrives in your mind. Pick up the book whose title you've heard referenced 3 different times. Drive the different route you're, for whatever reason, called to take. During this Mercury in Virgo transit, all thoughts are meaningful. Because Virgo receives information, not creates it, and the purpose will undoubtedly reveal itself, as the chances are, during the Mercury in Virgo transit, that your subconscious mind won't lead you one bit astray, but rather into your very own evolution, your education, one that serves your higher purpose and the benefit of all beings. Now, for the benefit of all of us, I will simply summarize the upcoming quality of time in a few words. These next couple of weeks will be seminal, illuminating, personal, consequential, and revelatory. That said, let's go over some simple do's and don'ts for this particular lunar cycle. Do be aware of and able to observe any arising negative emotions or individual issues. Don't become overly critical of your felt sensations or frustrated with your inevitable challenges. Do take time to intentionally express gratitude to others and give thanks for even the smallest things. Don't get hung up in the material of your identity or mired in covetous or comparative headspace, especially on social media. Do allow your intuition to guide you and trust your instincts as you move forward into uncharted territory. Don't make major commitments on minor whims or become overly impressed by transient desires. And perhaps this is where the podcast should naturally end. Though I am indeed a gemhead and ever your consummate crystal healer, I believe it's best to stick to the astrology. As each lunar cycle, I seem to come up with more and more to say. Until next time. That's it for this episode, folks. Meet me here every full and new moon for more cosmic wisdom. For now, you can find me on Instagram at Rachel Ruth Tate and at Text Astrology, or between the pages of my book, Meditations on Being, available on Amazon and wherever else you purchase books.
This has been a Rogue Media podcast.
In a world where dreams meet reality, there exists a place where your business can flourish. That place is Shopify. Imagine having the power to craft your online store with tools that make it as easy as a gentle breeze. Whether you're an artisan of handmade wonders, a creator of digital treasures, or a curator of the latest trends, Shopify stands by your side. With its customizable templates, seamless integrations, and support that's always there, your dream store is just a heartbeat away. Join millions of visionaries around the globe and let Shopify guide you on your journey. Visit roguemedianetwork.com/Shopify. That's roguemedianetwork.com/SHOPIFY. And embark on your free trial. Shopify, where your commerce dreams come to life.